What's up? My name is Charlie Schultz. I'm an actor. I'm a acting major here at my college, and I'm making this video because I was just on Instagram Reels, and I saw that Kai Cenat had been making these just like little life diaries, and I've been wanting to make these for years now. I had a video that I made like a year ago of doing this, and I just want to make these life diaries. I don't care who sees them. I'll probably clip these into Instagram Reels anyways, so that somebody will see them, um, because that's nice. That's nice, I guess, knowing that people are seeing what you're making, um, and there's probably a bit of something else in there of why I want that. Um, but yeah, basically where I'm at with my life is I'm a junior at college, and I have a ton of time on my hands. I have two online classes, one class in person. I have to go to that class twice a week, and it's an improv class, and I have no homework for it. And I am very unmotivated, and that sucks because I have a ton of goals and a ton of stuff that I want to do. Um, my biggest inspirations are probably like Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, um, Kanye, Kanye West before he went crazy. And yeah, I really want to create a ton of stuff while I'm alive. And I don't want to waste my time being on social media. And I don't want to waste my time lollygagging and, and wasting my time. I saw this thing on uh, Instagram while I was on Reels wasting my time, um, just about how much time the average, you know, person in their 20s is going to spend in their life on social media, and just the big chunk of time that's about to take out in years. And it was a depressing statistic, extremely depressing. So I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want that to happen to me at all. So the point of me making these, and I'm gonna try to make them every night. I'm not gonna make them in the mornings. I'm gonna make them at night because night seems to be the time, for me at least, where I think the most, and where I have the most insightful ideas. Blech. Um, the point of me making these though is to motivate myself really, and to also just keep kind of like a self journal. I enjoy writing, but at least right now that's not the biggest motivation. Um, I'm not very motivated to sit down and write a ton as much as I am to just sit down and yap at my computer screen, which I'm pretty used to. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna make these, and what's going on right now, and my plan, and the things that I want to do, especially with my free time, is I'm extremely into comedy, specifically comedy writing. One of my biggest dreams is to eventually one day write my own comedy show, kind of like I Think You Should Leave. I think You Should Leave. It's a show on Netflix. If you don't know what it is, you probably don't. It's a show on Netflix. I think that's one of the funniest shows in the world, and one of my dreams is to have a show like that. So I'm gonna start writing little sketch comedy bits, sketch comedies they even call it, little sketch bits, um, with other people, make them very easy to produce, so I can just make them in my own house, and use the other actors that I know, and I'm gonna start making those on and posting them on YouTube, and hopefully one day I can have my own show on Netflix, where I can do that on a larger scale for more people to watch. But you can get a ton of people to watch stuff on YouTube. That's the crazy thing, I think, is like not a lot of people realize that YouTube is kind of like the new television. Uh, Basically, like you have more viewers, having a show on YouTube than you might having a show many other places. Um, so I've really been studying kind of these different algorithms. For example, the YouTube algorithm compared to the Instagram and TikTok algorithm, they're very different. Like on YouTube, it's all about, your caption, like what your thumbnail says, and then or what your caption says and then what your thumbnail says, right? because people actually have to go and look and click and choose what they want to watch. Compared to on short form media, you're scrolling. So just whatever comes next, you're just going to watch it. It doesn't matter. You're kind of like forced into it. So it's different. And I also have an account on Instagram called Charlie Thinking Hard. And that account specifically, I just post the type of comedy stuff, kind of in more of like a stand-up format that I want to make. So even with YouTube, there's two ways that I want to go with it, because to fully express myself creatively, I want to be able to do my kind of show like comedy, having that comedy show. And I also want to have something more personality based, because I think I'm pretty funny and I love just like talking and being myself. So I also want to have a show, like a podcast type show. And originally I just wanted to do a podcast where I just talk to the camera, but that's not very like niche focused, I guess is the way to say, because I don't have any I don't know if the word is pathos, logos, or ethos, but I don't have any validation. There's no reason you would want to just see a video of me talking, because you don't know who I am. So you're not just going to sit and listen to me yap for an hour for no reason, except if there's a niche behind it, an actual interest behind it, then you have way more of an incentive to click on it and watch it. So another goal of mine, being at a creative art school, is I want to help people show off their art. So another thing that I really want to do is I want to have a podcast where I have artists come on and I show off their work and I show off their process and their creative process and their creative work, and I can really just like show how they do everything that they do. And not only would like that make me happy, but it would make me even more happy because I'd be helping other people show their art to other people. That sounded kind of silly, but I think you understand what I'm saying. I would be able to help people have a platform to really show their art, because I think that's one of the biggest things with a lot of artists is that you can make beautiful art, but if you don't know how to use apps like Instagram and TikTok or YouTube, it's very hard to be able to show off your art. And that shouldn't, be the artist's main focus. They should be able to just be focused on practicing their art and making their art. So I was out this weekend talking to people I hadn't seen in a super long time, because I don't go out a lot. And I was talking to an acquaintance, and I was with my friends and a lot of other people, and we're sitting at this bonfire, and I'm talking to them about basically this whole thing. And it's just this whole thing that there's like so many artists where, especially like at an art school, where like we're all sitting there and we're just all having a great time, but like most of these people aren't going to make money, like at least for a long time, for what they're doing. And it's sad, because the like the beauty, the art, the stuff that they actually make, they should be able to get rewarded for that. So why not speed up that process and help these people meet the other people that are possibly more high up in the industry, and find those people quicker? So that's something I really want to do. I also really want to make music, but with these two projects that I have going on, that's something that is probably going to not get all my time. But I used to sing. I still do sing, but I haven't got as much practice as I used to get. But back in high school, I was part of a cappella choir. I won first place in state for singing opera music in high school. And I see people around me making music, and there's a bit of jealousy within that, because it's like, dang, like I can sing. I know how music works. I always sucked at music theory, but I know how music works. I have a good ear for it. Like I wish I could be doing that. But there's so much, There's so much, and there's only so many hours in a day. And on top of it, you have this stupid phone and your stupid energy level that will keep you from doing everything that you want to do. And it hurts. It hurts a lot, deep in me to not feel like I'm fully reaching what I want to do. I used to work out a lot too. I used to work out, like, and a lot of people have this problem where they'll work out like 2.5, like 3 hours a day, to really like max out, and I had to stop doing that. And I gotta get into a routine of like actually working out a good amount of bit again, but working out like so many hours a day is like, it just takes up so much of your day. And like, you don't need to work out that much. Like, you can look good and you can work out, and just do push-ups and pull-ups and sit-ups in your room. You can look like Spider-Man, when he gets the venom in him, the spider venom, and he wakes up the next morning, he's all jacked. That's kind of like, if I could look like anything, I want to look like that. Or like what's his name? Super famous actor, Brad Pitt, or Brad Pitt from like Fight Club, or that other movie, Troy. I'd love to look like that too. But that's what that takes, is just like that type of work, You do your push-ups and get right back to what you were doing. So that's important to me. Spending time with people, my friends, not just people, but my friends, my family, my dogs. These things are all important as well. So it's finding a good balance for all those things. At the center of all that is also having a relationship with Christ, for me. I've gone back and forth growing up about being a Christian. I had a really tough time growing up with drugs, all the way up until really the end of my last year of college. But really, when I was like 14 to the end of high school, that's when I was really struggling with like just doing crazy drugs and stuff. And I really believe that the Lord saved me from that. And I can get into that another time, but I have a very deep testimony with all of that. But that's at the center of all of it, because like, and it's something that I'm struggling with, and I have to remember, is that like, human success and our human version of success and what we want to do, and our goals, they don't always line up with what the Lord wants and what the Lord's ultimate goal is for us. So I have to remember that, because sometimes I'll be thinking, man, I want to be, a famous actor so I can have a beautiful wife one day, so that she's impressed by what I do. But that's not even how love works. If someone loves you just because of your accomplishments, it's not real love. So then I'll be thinking in my head, oh, well, I just want it so that that girl notices me at first. But what is that? That's silly. So these are things I go through. These are things I think about. And yeah, I'm also helping my father, who he wrote a book, and he spent 4 years on writing a devotional of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in order. And I'm trying to help him make videos where he basically records himself just going through a devotional a day, and I just want to help him post those to YouTube and then post them on short form media to bring people to his YouTube account, because I really think that like, I have a calling for that thing, and for helping people with that. So I really want to help my dad, because when you see, and it's the same with art, with these artists I was talking about at my college, when you see how much effort and work somebody puts into something, and then no one's able to see it, it's a shame. It's a shame, man, because people deserve to see that stuff. It almost makes me like emotional and sad, but people deserve to see it. People don't always understand how to put it out there, how to get it seen. And so people need help with that. And then, yeah, the last thing for me too is just, there's another thing too, which is finding an acting agency. So I got to get new headshots taken and send my headshots out to an acting agency, because I love acting. I really do. Like, that is a huge passion of mine, and I love being able to really see someone's human experience and really try to like put that on myself, and then take that experience and like put it back on to stage and screen. So that's very like interesting and captivating to me. So I got to find an agent. That's another thing I got to do this trimester at school. And also, I got to try to find an internship for this summer. I'd like to find one in editing, where I can get a job in editing, and then in my free time, I can act. And probably in Atlanta would be the nicest area to go to. I went to LA this past summer. I had an internship there, but it's very expensive to be in LA. Very. And I think Atlanta is more where it's at. But the whole acting world is just kind of gone all over the place. And it doesn't seem to kind of be in one spot right now. But I don't really do enough research on the topic, so I'm not 100% sure. But I know Atlanta is a great hotspot, and I'm looking at potentially living there after college. So that would be a good place to start. But yeah. So there's those things, and I was gonna say one more thing, but I forgot it. But yeah, there's just a wide spectrum of things I want to do. So those are kind of my goals this semester, and I'm gonna keep making these videos. And more than anything, I think the main thing, which I've struggled with throughout my whole time creating things, is to not be a perfectionist. To not be a perfectionist with anything that I make. And it's very hard. You hear stories of Kanye West being a perfectionist and the beauty that it's created in his music. But I think that is a big knife in the chest to an artist, especially a young artist like me, is being a perfectionist. Because in being a perfectionist, you take so long. If you're someone like me, you take so long. Quick story. When I first wrote a script, me and my buddy, this summer, my sophomore year, we wrote a script together. And we actually, so I made this movie. I acted in this movie. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Dirty Laundry. And me and my friend are the lead actors in it. And at my, and we made it in Indiana, which is where I'm from, at a film studio there. And I became really good friends with the director and the producer, and I still am. And they're like a small film studio. And I asked them over that summer, hey, could we make a film, and would you guys produce it for us? And they were like, yeah, of course. And so we spend this whole summer coming up with all these ideas for a film. And we never ended up making anything because we could never agree on an idea. The idea was never perfect enough. The idea was never, just right. So we would never make it. And it wasn't until the beginning of this junior year that I was able to create my first film that I wanted to make. And I was able to make two of them. I was able to make two films. And while I was in LA, I think part of why I was able to even make two, and both of these I co-produced, I wrote them, I edited both of them, I acted in them as the main actor, and what other job is there? I don't even know. But I basically did like a lot of things for them. And I raised the money. I raised over $3,000 by throwing a party and charging people for drinks. And that made a lot of people and a lot of my Christian friends mad. And probably wasn't the best thing to do to raise money. But I did. I raised this money. And but I don't think I would have been able to do that if it weren't for me to go to LA this past summer. Because when I was in LA, I saw so many adults, people in their 30s, people in their 40s, people in their 50s. There's like a 6-year-old man there, and all these people want to learn how to act. They want to act in Hollywood movies. They want to do all this stuff, and you can see the drive. You can see their spirit. You can see their drive, and you can see their spirit, and you can see how hard they want to work. And it was just a punch in the gut, man. It was like, let's make something. It does not matter. Let's make something, and let's start going. Because you're wasting your time, man. You're wasting your gifts that God gave you. So use them. Use them and don't spend too much time overthinking it. Just make it. Just make the stuff. So that's this. That's these videos. That's everything. is just make the stuff and don't make it for anybody else. Make it for you. Because at the end of the day, oh, I thought my computer just shut down. Because at the end of the day, when you're sitting there and especially with like Instagram Reels, because they can be so short, and you could start thinking like, I just want to make something that's gonna blow up. At the end of the day, man, you have a video that blows up, and it's just not you. It's just not what you wanted to make. It's just not what you wanted to create. It's gonna suck. You're not gonna like that. You don't want to be somebody else. You want to be you. You want to be authentically you. And that only happens by making stuff you want to create. And if nobody watches it, if nobody cares, if nobody gives a damn, who cares, man? Who cares? You're doing it for you. So that's it. My name is Charlie Schultz. Schultz with the LTZ, because people always forget the T and they'll say Scholes. I have friends that have my name in their contact as that. Anyways, my mouth is so dry. I gotta go get more water. My name is Charlie Schultz. This is my first video of many, hopefully, that I'll make like this. Just talking to my camera, and to whoever sees these. But yeah, I have a lot of hopes. I have a lot of dreams. I have a lot of things I want to do. And the start of it all is just not giving a fuck and just creating. So that's what I hope to do. All right. Good night. It's 12:30 now. I have class at 8 in the morning, which means I got to get up at 7. And my car's in the auto shop, so I got to get an Uber. All right. Bye.